Okay, 2022 is over. We are in 2023 and it is time for my most anticipated books of 2023. I only have 5, my top 5, and I hope that these are all hitters. Last year when I did my most anticipated books of 2022, I did it shooting blind. I had no idea what to expect because I hadn't been in the reading world for so long. But a lot of my books I picked were definitely hitters. Daughter of the Moon Goddess ended up being one of my 5-star reads of the year, and some of them I didn't even get to, but you know what, that's fine. But this year, coming in at number 1, Chain of Thorns by Cassandra Clare. This is the last book in the Chain of Gold Last Hours series, and it will determine if I will be taking away the mantle from Clockwork Princess as being one of my favorite trilogies of all time and giving it to Chain of Gold. I feel like Clockwork Princess broke me, and that's what brought it to being one of my favorite trilogies ever, and I really want Chain of Thorns to break me too, but in like the best way possible. And I'm really scared that a favorite character of mine might pass away, but it's not too long now. The countdown begins. It is like January 5th now. Like in 1 month, I have already pre-ordered 5 editions of Chain of Thorns. Note, I was supposed to be reading Chain of Thorns in 2022. This was one of my anticipated books of 2022, but it did not release because of the whole like production issue and the panini and all the other nonsense. But this year we're reading it. I have my Waterstones edition, my Illuminate edition, my Fairy Loot edition, my first edition regular edition, and I have another edition. I don't remember where it's from, but I have ordered another edition. I really don't remember where I ordered it from though. Oh well, I am so excited. Chain of Thorns, my schedule is cleared. I'm locking myself away. At the end of January, I'm doing a readathon. I'm reading Chain of Gold and Chain of Iron because I want to be fully in the setting, in the mood for when Chain of Thorns lands in my lap. I will devour it. Locking my doors, do not DM me, do not call me. I am out of office, I am reading. I will be vlogging the experience for you though. And for me, because I need to know what's going to go on. I'm pretty sure there's going to be trigger warning. I will be doing spoilers in this review because I don't think I will be able to contain myself, and I need to be able to talk to people about what's going on in my book because I have hyped up Chain of Thorns in my heart. If it falls, if it falters, I will be so crushed. So, Chain of Thorns coming in as number 1 for my most anticipated books of 2023. Next, Roar of Tides by Veronica Rossi. So I love the Under the Neversky series. It is a book of 3 books. It's a trilogy, and I really love this trilogy. I think it's very understated, it's very simplistic, it's very beautiful. But overall, this would be a spin-off story within that trilogy. So Roar is an accompanying character in the Under the Neversky trilogy, and pretty much it is a dystopian sci-fi romance, and pretty much Earth is uninhabitable and people are living in pods, and one of the girls who are living in pods, they live in these virtual realities, so their body is like in place, but they do work, play, sleep all within the virtual reality. And pretty much she is the daughter of a very notable doctor, and she gets into trouble. She ends up getting thrown into like the wild or the Badlands, which is pretty much where all the other people are that weren't able or weren't rich enough or stable enough or fast enough to get into a pod when the whole world shut down. I feel like I'm really underselling this book, but pretty much she ends up being thrown into the wild and surviving with another person who has been in the wild for a while and has all these mutations, and it's like this enemies to lovers, and it's so, I love it. It's subtle, it's sweet, it's a story from our heart, and this side character getting his own story, chef's kiss. I highly recommend it. It's sci-fi, it's dystopian, it's older, so it has that definitely like 2000s writing, but I enjoyed it. Next, The Stolen Heir by Holly Black. I did it in 2022. I read The Wicked Kingdom or The Wicked King I don't remember the title, but I read that trilogy. I loved it. I found physical copies. I annotated it. My only regret was not vlogging it for y'all. But I had such a blast reading those books. It was truly a pleasure. And The Stolen Heir by Holly Black is a spin-off series of Oak, who's a character in The Wicked Prince or The Wicked King, and I'm here for it. I did not like her Teeth, Ironside, and Valiant spin-off versions of this, which is what I read originally, like the older Holly Black work. I didn't care for it, but I love Jude and she's a great character. Next, These Infinite Threads by Zhara. So last year was, I feel like, a year of Zhara, honestly. I read the whole Shatter Me series. I read it twice. I binged it. Thank God it came in the right time because I had COVID and I was so ill. And I read it twice, along with the accompanying novellas. And I also read This Woven Kingdom as one of my, I think that was like one of my first reads, like that first month of January of 2022, and I love that book. It was my first 5-star read of the year, and that was my first introductory book to Zhara Mafi's writing and her world building, and I'm just really excited because this is book 2, and book 2, for those who don't know Zhara Mafi and her Shatter Me style of writing, the first book is usually like scene setting and building blocks of everything else that's gonna happen. And I'm really hoping it lives up to everything else is gonna happen hype in my heart, because book 2 is where it's supposed to like start popping off, and book 3 is where we become like sticky fans, because she'd be like wrenching hearts and everything. I might vlog reading This Woven Kingdom and These Infinite Threads, just so I can have my experience documented, but I'm excited for that. And the next book I have is Zhara, Guardian of Dawn, and I don't remember what this book is about. I wrote it on my list, but I put this list together like weeks ago and I just never got to it, so I don't know what this book is about, but I put it on the list. Past Mo knows what's going on. Current Mo is not entirely sure, but past Mo knows what's happening. So I'm gonna trust my past self, adding it to my most anticipated books of 2023, because it is what it is. Okay guys, what is on your most anticipated list for 2023? I never got to finish mine last year, but one of them did not come out and the other ones I kind of forgot about, so I made this smaller this year, I think. Anyway, happy 2023, happy reading.